Also, just a quick thing. Fuck. Okay, I need to actually work today. Okay. This. Okay, I'm gonna put on my ultra pro pally hat for a moment. Okay, because it's very frustrating watching like Palestinians doing like a victory lap on some peace deal and then trying to attack Biden over this. Okay, so the war in Gaza that happened over the last 13 months, okay, might have resulted in more Arab deaths than possibly every Arab-Israeli war combined, okay, since 1947, all right? Number one. Number 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay, the amount of military victories and geopolitical successes that Israel was able to carve out as a result of that war. We saw a weakening of the Houthis. We saw a obliteration of Hamas. We saw further subjugation of the Palestinian Authority, okay, increasing security ops in the West Bank. We saw the obliteration of, with Hamas top 3 leaders dead, okay, we saw Nasrallah finally killed, infamous leader of Hezbollah for decades, okay. We saw Hezbollah completely fractured. We saw the Assad regime toppled, finally, okay. Potential expansion or solidification of expansion into Syria. And we saw a severe undermining of Iran, okay. All of the utter humiliation. All of this happened over this, year-plus war between Israel and Gaza, okay? Between Israel and Gaza. The idea that anybody would clap their hands from the Palestinian side and say, oh my God, we have a ceasefire. Yeah, no shit. Israel got to persecute their full war. And I think that the outcomes that they got were far and above, I'll say it with a bit of lagging humility, I guess far and above what I think anybody would have ever predicted, okay? The idea that this is something to be celebrated from the Palestinian side, because we're going to be going back to October 6th, essentially. Because, so here's what I'm wondering in terms of like outcomes. If Hamas is allowed to remain in power, what does this mean for the Palestinians? Probably no, obviously. There's going to be no permanent settlement to the issue. Obviously, there's going to be no, there's going to maybe be no union between the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. So no unified Palestinian government. Israel might still have cause to do the blockade. Israel might still have cause to restrict travel. Even if Hamas does exist in some form, it's going to be more isolated than it was before. And Netanyahu, I don't know what his popularity, is like right now. I imagine it's probably higher after military success, after military success, after military success. And especially if he's able to bring home hostages after all of this. When I was in Israel, when those, I think it was 5 hostages were released, there was like a countrywide elation. People were so happy. Everybody that I ran into was so happy when those hostages came back. If you're getting 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, however many are left hostages coming back, bro, this is like, it is the most unbelievable victory lap for Israel and maybe Netanyahu that could like ever happen. And the idea that somehow this is like a victory lap for Palestinians is like so horrible. I don't know, man. Holy shit. It was probably one of the edgiest tweets. I'm sorry. I roasted a lot of Palestinians, but the fucking with Zionists was just so fucking funny, bro. Fuck me. Do I even remember now where this was? Oh, this is in Tel Aviv. I think this was called Hostage Square. So being respectful. There are people that will come here and they will do, not tours, but like they'll speak. It's usually family members of hostages. Sometimes former hostages will come and speak to people. And then they have a little timer here on, I think, how long the hostages have been held. I tweeted this out and man, Zionists get ass pained. But anyway. Didn't the previous ceasefire deals fail because Hamas didn't have enough hostages? Do you think they'll somehow find new alive ones? No, I mean, it has to do with like how long the war is going to continue. I mean, like, Israel's not going to do this war forever, right? Like, at some point it's going to end. I don't know what other military operations they have to do with Gaza. I don't know what the fuck else Israel could even want in the region. What are they going to wait for the Ayatollah to collapse? Like, you're up so good if you're Israel right now. Holy fuck. You are up so good. Jordan and Egypt are big chillin', okay? Saudi Arabia is, and all of your Gulf friends are big chillin'. Qatar is still like mediating, I guess, disagreements between you and Hamas, whoever the fuck is left. Assad is literally flown to Moscow, okay? You were edging your Syrian borders the whole time. Remember, those borders between Syria and Israel, those aren't real borders. That's still just an armistice line. So when people were talking about, like, Israel might be expanding into Syria, yeah, there's not even borders there, bro. There's no recognized borders. They never agreed on them. So Israel's up big, okay? Like, Iran tried to bomb fucking Israel, and they got smacked down by U.S. carriers, by Jordan, by Saudi Arabia. Literally every fucking person came together with some fucking spirit bomb to swat away any Iranian missiles. I think the shell of one of the bodies dropped from the sky and I think killed a Palestinian. It's not funny that a person died, but just the fact that that's the only one they got. Like, it's just, they're up so good. If you are, dude, watching that video that's like, it's funny only because I'm not affected and it's so dark, but there's just like a dude walking in the street and this like the shell of this missile just falls out of the sky and fucking kills him. Like, how unlucky are you that you're that guy? Oh my God. That it just, it's so unlucky. How long do you think Hamas is going to need to come back from this if they stay in power? Like 5 to 10 years until they can do another October 6th? You mean 7th? Can you explain what Trump contributed to the deal? I doubt much at all. Trump doesn't have to do anything. There was Steve something, I don't remember. There's a special envoy that articles are reporting that he was instrumental in getting a deal done, but like, I don't know what this deal is other than an absolute victory for Israel and an absolute surrender to from Hamas to Israel. It just feels like a total victory for them. Destiny, I'm Saudi and Saudi did not protect Israel. I thought Saudi Arabia, as well as Jordan and the United States, I thought all intercepted some of the missiles from Iran. Is that not correct? I thought there were a lot of different, it was in the first missile attack, I think, not the second one, right? Wasn't there a first one? Am I making that up? A huge prisoner release of Palestinian prisoners is kind of a loss for Israel. I mean, meh, barely. But Hamas is still going to be in Gaza, no? Yeah, but I think, so now I'm going to give some weight to the conspiracy, right? But what is like, there's elements of truth to that. Having a weakened Hamas in Gaza, I think is a successful state for an ultra-Zionist to maintain, because it guarantees that there's a separation between the Palestinians in the West Bank and the Palestinians in Gaza, because the PLO and the PA probably are never going to have Hamas as a part of them, unless Hamas is going to try to take new steps towards that. And as long as the Palestinians are not unified under the Palestinian Authority or the PLO, there's never going to be talks of a two-state, one-state solution, anything there. It allows Israel to probably still have an excuse to maintain the blockade and the travel restrictions, which is good for them. It helps keep that territory under control. And it allows them to continue to expand into the West Bank, right? Like, let's see. Report. Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia, provided intelligence on Iran attack. Oh, okay, maybe Saudi Arabia didn't shoot missiles, but they were just providing intel, I guess. Jordan was actually shooting missiles, though, right? While it was already known that Jordan actively participated in the downing of drones headed to Israel through its airspace, the Jordan report for the first time revealed the scope of drone activity stretching across the region, and that included countries that have no diplomatic ties with Israel. The report cited as officials saying that the success in stopping so many drones and missiles due to Arab countries having passed on intelligence about the Iranian plans. So, yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, but the whole conflict was such negative PR for Israel, especially for young people. Don't you think this will result in the weakening of U.S. support to Israel in the decades to come, which will make it not worth it in the long term? People never think in the long term. I don't know if Israel thinks in the long term, but it might not matter. Like, Israel could theoretically move to be more independent from the United States. I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm that smart to predict or understand like what Israel's relationships are like with all the surrounding Arab countries absent the United States. I'm not sure. But I mean, like, if Israel is buddy-buddy with the Gulf, who else? The question too is like, who else can even fight? Like, I'm still not convinced that there's like, that Saudi Arabia even has like a real military or anything. I don't know what is in that country. Like, I don't know how Saudi Arabia has been at war with the fucking Houthis for a decade and like nothing is happening. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know if their airplanes are not real or if the guns don't shoot real bullets. I don't know. I don't know what Saudi Arabia has for a military. I truly do not understand. I have no fucking idea. Egypt is just big chillin'. I don't know what they do militarily. Syria's been in a civil war for fucking ever. Hezbollah and a whole bunch of different Syrian groups fight. I don't know what Iraq's military looks like. And Iran usually fights with proxies. So I feel like Israel is literally and I think Israel is the only nuclear power, save for Pakistan, which I don't think has much active involvement in the Middle East right now. I think they're mainly concerned with fighting around with like China and India. So I feel like Israel is like the big boy in the region now. Turkey is stronger than Israel. They might be. I'm not sure. I don't know what Turkey does besides killing Kurdish people. No offense to either side. Destiny, you challenge more on the Palestinians aren't celebrating because they won. They're celebrating because they're going to stop fucking dying. So I understand from a very white Western perspective, you think that like dying and living is the only thing that matters. But I will reiterate, the thing that people care about is justice. Okay? Like, the Palestinians, especially Palestinians growing up in the Gaza Strip, especially people who've lived their whole life under occupation, these are not people who like just want to not die. Okay? Bro, fuck, what we've seen videos of like, is it like Palestinian children literally running up to the backs of like Israeli tanks to plant bombs and shit? These are not people who are like, oh, I just want to not die. They want freedom. They want to have like a country to call their own, like a history that they can look back to and be proud of. Probably some kind of unification of their people, some land to live on, some welcoming back of refugees. Like, going back to October 6th, right? The status quo, I don't think is a big win for Palestine. And remember, the status quo for Israel, at least in the short term, is benefiting them. The status quo for Israel is good because it means further encroachment in the West Bank. It means a further expansion of Area C. It means more and more territory formally annexed by Israel. Like, that's all that means. You've got these crazy breeders, is it Hasidic Jews or is it Orthodox? What's the name of the guys that have all the fucking babies in the West Bank? The Jewish people that do this. These guys are like machine gunning out children like crazy. So to shore up their demographic advantages, like